Me today.
Hey, everybody.
So glad to be back. We're live on several platforms. If you're viewing this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share. But today's topic is the difference between super successful, and I think I spelled successful wrong. That's a bad move right off the bat. So number one, learn how to spell. But the difference between successful and not so successful, one of the big things is time management. So Dave, let's have you start today on that.
Yeah, I want to talk because I was actually doing a little bit of teaching on this today, and it was fresh in my mind. And I thought, you know what, that would be a great topic for our entrepreneur dojo. So I was talking about how, through the course of me being an entrepreneur, being around successful entrepreneurs, and especially at a time when I was not yet successful, I was like, what is the difference between them and me? What's the difference between that successful entrepreneur and me, right? Well, I found out very early on that some of the people I was looking at, they're making 300,000, 500,000, $1 million a year. I found out very early on that it wasn't because they were smarter than me. Now, we all tend to believe, if you haven't been around the entrepreneurial world, we all tend to believe, oh, you know what? They're making a high six-figure income because they figured it out. They figured something out. And what that translates to is they're smarter. They were smart enough to figure out how to make 300,000 a year or 600,000 a year or whatever. And you know what I found out? That's not it. It's not that they're smarter. I also thought, well, maybe it's because they look good. Maybe they're handsome or she's beautiful. Maybe that's why, like they just have like good genes and good genetics and they look good. Well, I found out there's some fairly plain looking people making high six-figure incomes. So I'm like, okay, no, I'm not pointing to anybody, James. But I was like, okay, so it's not looks, it's not smarts. Maybe it's who they know. Maybe it's their connections, right? So they just happen to know the right people. And maybe that's it. I found some pretty lonely, shy, introverted people that were making high six-figure incomes. So I'm like, okay, that's not it. So like, what the heck is it, right? Well, from being an entrepreneur so long, from being a successful entrepreneur, from learning from successful entrepreneurs, I've learned the secret. The secret is, oh, here's one more. Sorry. One more thing. I was actually talking to my son about this yesterday. I said, look, everybody has the same number of hours in a day, right? So it can't be they have more time than I do. Can't be that. These are all the different variables we need to look at. Finally, I arrived at the conclusion after a lot of studying of successful entrepreneurs and that kind of thing is that the successful entrepreneur gets more out of their 1 hour, 5 hours, 10 hours a day than a non-successful entrepreneur. They use time leverage. This is beyond time management. This is beyond productivity. This is time leverage. So what does that mean? What is time leverage? Well, time leverage is where you can get 1 unit of work to pay off 10 units of profit. You can get 1 unit of effort to pay off 50 times return, where somebody might invest an hour on their job and get X amount of dollars for that hour. You invest an hour in your business and get a massive return for that hour of your time. All right. So I kind of want to talk about time leverage and how that shows up in an online business. And James, maybe you've got some ideas on time leverage.
Yeah, for sure. Like the whole notion of one to many. And that's why we like courses so well, is because it's something we can put our content out there and it's potentially evergreen and people can see it. That is, yes, you had to have your time to make that happen, but it's not like you had to necessarily go to a job every day to trade that for whatever you're getting paid hourly. You can do that once and have it continue on. Or maybe you can farm out some of your labor and have someone else do it. Just like little things. Like I used to mow my lawn myself. And that was fine. That was great. But sometimes, and I had a push mower and take me 3 or 4 hours to mow the lawn. And then my wife's like, well, why don't you just pay someone to do it? And then you get 3 or 4 your hours back. It's
Right.
just simple stuff like that. But and of course you can take it much farther than that. But a lot of people don't necessarily value their time. And so I like how you make that distinction. There's time management where you say to yourself, well, maybe I shouldn't be watching television 6 hours a day. But then there's time leverage, which is what you just said, which is a very different thing. So
Yes.
so I think it's important to make that distinction. Time management. Am I using my time effectively versus time leverage? How can I propel what I'm doing? I remember Jerry Seinfeld said that one time. Somebody basically said, I have the same amount of hours in a day as you have. And it's true. All these people that are crushing it right there, they have the same amount of time that you do, but they're doing something that's multiplying their effort, their talent, whatever, to get them to the goal faster.
Yeah, and just like we can buy a household item at a thrift store and flip it for 10 times its value. We call that retail arbitrage. We can also arbitrage our time, right? We can take the hours in a day. Let me give you one example. Okay, I've got a graphic designer. He's in the Philippines, and I can give him a task at the end of my day, and he gets it done while I'm asleep, which is the beginning of his day, and it's like time shifting. And by the time I wake up in the morning, that project is done.
It's like you're working 24 hours, kind of, in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one form of time leverage. The guy who created this onlinejobs.ph website where I found my graphic designer, he took advantage of the 4-hour work week, that Tim Ferriss book. That was really a groundbreaking book. The 4-hour work week showed you how you could leverage time, and showed you how you could leverage time in so many different ways that you could end up with a 4-hour work week, for example. And so time leverage is so important. It is really one of the keys to success. And sometimes it doesn't come without focus. You've got to be so focused on what you're doing, and daily, really hour by hour, go, hey, how can I maximize the productivity and the profitability of this time? Sometimes time leverage means you collaborate, you joint venture with somebody. Like if you don't have the traffic to drive to your product, collaborate with somebody who has the traffic or has the email list, has the audience, right? Likewise, if you have the audience, but you're not an expert in a particular field, joint venture with that expert to provide your audience with what they're looking for, right? These are forms of time leverage that allow you to really expand and kind of extrapolate what you're bringing to the world. And by doing that, you win. And so back to what you were talking about, James, about online courses. I mean, online courses are the ultimate time leverage right now. And I've said this a few times. I have about 789,000 students around the world in 183 countries, 184 countries. Right now, some of those people are taking my course right now. I don't know how many of them, I don't know what percentage of them, but right now, as I'm doing this, I'm also teaching a bunch of people because I've leveraged my time. I've figured out a way to clone myself, in effect, to duplicate myself 789,000 times, right, through my courses. And so that's another form of time leverage. And we could probably go on and on about the different ways that you could time leverage. Earlier in one of our previous episodes, we talked about the different ways that I receive payments from Amazon. Basically, I set up some Kindle books once, a couple years ago, and those Kindle books pay me every month, right? I set up some videos on Amazon Prime, Amazon Video Direct, and those videos pay me every month. I set up courses on a bunch of different platforms, and those courses pay me every month. So that's what I'm talking about with time leverage, is understanding that the use of your time is not linear. It's not one-to-one, or at least it shouldn't be. Your use of your time should be 1 to 10, 10x return, 50x return, 100x return on your time. And really, when you understand the value of your time, then you're not going to give it away so easily, and you're going to use it very wisely, very, very stingily. You're going to be very stingy with your time, because you know that every minute, every 10 minutes, every 50 minutes is worth a huge amount of money to you now and also in the future. And so this is something that I think is so critical for us to understand as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know a lot of times, even myself, and I struggle with it all the time. I may be at the computer, but am I using my time effectively? Now, this is a great thing where we're doing effectively. Thank you, Cam, for your comment, by the way. It's great to see people here live. But we're doing something that when we do this live, we're on multiple platforms now, and we're there on an evergreen basis, and we see our videos get more and more views. It's one time that we had to talk that we could reach many people, and this is something that this is one aspect of something that we do to leverage ourselves. We're not giving this speech, this presentation every day the same thing. We do it once, kind of set it and forget it. And but start to try and think about that as much as you can, that you're not just kind of sitting on your computer and scrolling through Facebook and all the time sudden the time goes by. Are you doing something that's planting another seed that you can sow later?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important time leverage activities would be something like this: publishing content that lives beyond you, that people can access for years to come. That's huge time leverage, right? Because right now we're going to have X number of people who watch this live, but then we're going to have a much bigger number of people that watch it afterwards, and then an even bigger number of people who watch it in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. And it's all going to be developing and building this trust and this rapport and this value for people. That's one thing. Another thing you can do to time leverage is build an email list. Whatever it takes to build an email list, create a lead magnet, and start driving people to your lead magnet, your opt-in list, your opt-in page. And most of the time, the best way to do that is with publishing content like this. That's another form of time leverage. A third form of time leverage is to outsource things that you're not as good at, or that aren't worth your time. And I don't mean aren't worth your time like in a negative way. They're just, the value of your time, and you would much rather pay somebody 10 or 15, 20 bucks an hour to do that, because your value of your time is worth 50, 100, or even more dollars an hour, right? So outsourcing can be good. And so there are just different ways. Creating information products and online courses is a form of time leverage. Creating products and putting them on marketplaces where they just sell over and over and over for you. But believe it or not, James, I'm still to this day selling my eBay course that I sold on TV. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, the other day, somebody somehow they ended up on my website. They bought my course for $19.95, and I shipped it out. I actually personally shipped it out. I should have told them, hey, I'm shipping this out to you. But and then the day before that, there was two people that bought my DVDs from that infomercial, and they're still buying these, and I have no cost of goods in these products. All I have to do is ship them out, and that's easy. And so, I'm still, that one product is still making me money today. And the infomercial has been off the air for about 10 years now?
I was going to say you're over a decade old with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. And the really amazing thing to me is that people still are getting huge value out of that product. And because I created it to be very evergreen. So anyway, so these are all ways that you can leverage your time. And remember, it's not about how smart you are. It's not about how good looking you are. It's not about what kind of connections you have. And it's not about how you use your time any differently. We're all given 24 hours a day, right? It's about how you leverage your time. How can you leverage your time every day? That should be your kind of key indicator. How did I leverage my time today? Or how am I going to leverage my time today to squeeze more out of those hours that I do work my business, to squeeze more out of everything that I do? That, in my opinion, is one of the big secrets that doesn't get talked about very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, and there's always tactics, there's always, neat things and new ways you can do things. But a lot of this, especially today, this core concept is a big thing. And it's like learning the fundamentals. And it's like I said, it's something that I still have to adjust and reevaluate all the time. So this was huge. I just wanted to do a little quick shout out here too to a group. If you go here to jamesrenault.com/group, that's a Facebook group I have, and all of these videos or our Entrepreneur Dojo is streamed there. You can also check it out on Entrepreneur Dojo. Is it entrepreneurdojo.info?
Yep. Entrepreneurdojo.info. That's our YouTube channel. And be sure to comment and like while you're there. Subscribe. We're working to build that subscription. We have over 4,500 subscribers already, but we want to get to 10,000 and then 50,000 and who knows where from there.
Yeah, so check out entrepreneurdojo.info to get to the YouTube channel. So however you like to do that, if you want to get in the Facebook group, it's very early on, but there'll be more interaction there. But the entrepreneurdojo.info is going to redirect you to the YouTube channel if you want to subscribe there. This is also showing on different groups and in my Facebook wall and so on. So we're in a lot of different places, but this was a great topic tonight, Dave. So thank you for that.
We're practicing what we preach, time leverage.
Yes. And we're enjoying it. We're enjoying getting on multiple platforms. We're enjoying having people live with us. So thank you very much. Cam, with all your great comments and everybody else is watching. You had me. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how good looking you are. Absolutely, Cam. But we appreciate everybody being on here live, and the more we're getting more and more traction. So we love hearing feedback. Cam and everybody else is giving us feedback either on the stream or however they're contacting us. We see you, and our views are growing, and we want to keep bringing you value. So let us know what you like, and we're going to keep bringing it to you. So thank you tonight, Dave, and for everyone that viewed us live. And if you're watching it later, thank you. Any other thoughts, Dave, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess I would give everybody homework to sit down in a quiet moment and go, how can I leverage my time? What can I do that leverages my time, that gives me massive result for the same amount of time that I'm putting in right now? Do that little bit of thought exercise and homework, and I think you'll be surprised at what you find.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great day or great night, and thank you, Dave. We'll see you next time.